In this story, we'll see how a servant starts working at a rich man's house and ends up having an affair with his wife. But when the rich man finds out, things take a shocking turn. What happens between the three of them, and who the woman gets involved with next, will be revealed at the end. The movie opens with a wealthy man named Will, who lives in a luxurious mansion with his wife Ramona. Will was extremely rich and had even hired police officers for his security. That day, a new servant was supposed to arrive. Meanwhile, the servant Simu was on his way to Will's house with Officer James and two of James's colleagues. Simu looked nervous since this was his first time working for anyone. James was driving and chatting with his partner, while the woman sitting next to Simu, Mona, began flirting with him. Without the others noticing, Mona placed her hand on Simu's arm, trying to get him to relax and respond. But Simu was too scared to even speak. Mona smirked and teasingly ran her hand over him, enjoying how nervous he was, while James and his partner in the front seat had no clue what was going on. After a while, they finally arrived at Will's grand mansion. As soon as Simu stepped out of the car, he grew even more nervous. The group went inside, and James greeted Will with a hug. Actually, Will had asked James to bring Simu because he needed a loyal servant. Will himself was a former military officer and had also hired James as his personal bodyguard. When Will saw Simu, he liked him right away. James assured Will that Simu was loyal and hardworking, someone who would never give him any reason to complain. Pleased with James's work, Will decided to reward him. He called out to his wife Ramona to bring the money. Ramona was young and stunningly beautiful, and her beauty instantly caught Simu's attention. Will was in a cheerful mood. He had guests over that evening and invited James to return later for a party. That night, Will's house was filled with music and laughter as the party began. Everyone was having fun with their lovers, but poor Simu had no one, so his eyes kept wandering to Ramona. Seeing his friends having fun with their partners, they started a little game of hide and seek around the house. At first, Will enjoyed it, but when he accidentally hurt himself slightly, he lost his temper. He yelled at Ramona and even smashed a glass in anger. Ramona, frightened, quickly came to calm him down. She spoke sweetly, apologizing and trying to make him feel better. Will finally relaxed as Ramona seduced him. Just as things started heating up between them, Simu happened to walk by and heard their voices. Startled, Ramona quickly covered herself, embarrassed. Will noticed Simu standing outside and yelled at him angrily. Outside, Simu could still hear Ramona's moans and felt deeply sad. But the housemaid Sophia came up to him and said, "Don't pay attention to that. They do this almost every night. Just focus on your work, earn your money, and make something of your life." Meanwhile, upstairs, things didn't go as planned. Will got drunk and ended up vomiting all over Ramona. He then fell asleep right after, leaving her disgusted and furious. Later, Ramona came downstairs and told Sophia to clean Will's clothes. As she was leaving, her eyes met Simu's. They didn't say a word, but their looks said everything. The next morning, Simu was cleaning the house while Ramona and Will were sitting outside, enjoying the sun. But Ramona couldn't take her eyes off Simu. Will, on the other hand, was busy talking on the phone, completely unaware that his wife was secretly watching their servant. Ramona pretended to read a magazine, but her gaze kept drifting towards Simu. Simu, however, was too scared to look back and focused only on his work. A few minutes later, the maid Sophia brought juice for Will. As soon as Will saw Sophia, after finishing his juice, Will told Ramona he was going to take a shower. Ramona had been waiting for that exact moment. Once Will left, she tried to talk to Simu again, but the words wouldn't come out. Meanwhile, in the bathroom, Sophia arrived with a towel for Will. Will gave her some. Sophia immediately understood what he wanted. She quietly entered the bathroom. Will found Sophia far more exciting than Ramona. Afterward, Will got dressed and left for an important business meeting, taking his bodyguard James along. With Will gone, Ramona relaxed and started drinking. A little later, Sophia approached her and asked if she needed anything. Ramona didn't say much and simply walked away. Deep down, she was starting to suspect Sophia of having an affair with her husband. Ramona went up to the terrace with another drink, feeling lonely. From there, she saw Simu swimming and playing in the pool below. Watching him made her heart race. She was beginning to fall in love with him, though she couldn't bring herself to admit it. Ramona quickly grabbed another drink and went down to the pool. Seeing his mistress approach, Simu panicked and rushed out of the water. As he tried to slip past her, Ramona stopped him and asked him to sit beside her. Simu hesitated. He wasn't wearing a shirt and felt embarrassed. Ramona smiled and told him to relax. Slowly, they started talking. Ramona asked softly, "Don't you find me attractive?" Simu replied nervously, "You are beautiful, ma'am, but I'm just a servant." Ramona sighed and said, "I only married this old man for money. I come from an ordinary family, just like you." Her words made Simu feel more comfortable. For the first time, he felt drawn to her, not just as an employer, but as a woman. Ramona then offered him a cigarette, and he accepted. They smoked together in silence, their eyes saying what words couldn't. The next morning, Will returned home from his business trip. He greeted Ramona and carried a bag full of cash, which he locked inside the closet. Ramona asked, "Would you like some breakfast?" Will shook his head. "No, not hungry." Then he asked, "Where's Simu?" Soon, Will and Simu took a boat out on the lake to go fishing. After rowing for a while, they stopped in the middle of the calm water. Will cast his fishing line and then asked Simu why he was always so quiet. Simu hesitated for a moment before answering, "I never knew my father, and my mother passed away a few months ago. I just want to save money and study." Hearing that, Will's tone softened. "If you work honestly," he said, "I'll take responsibility for your education." Simu looked at him surprised. It was the first time he had seen Will's kind side. He smiled and said, "I just want to build a family someday." Will nodded approvingly. "Work hard, and I'll help you however I can." After the boating trip, Will was exhausted, so Simu began massaging his legs. Ramona sat nearby, and once again, their eyes met. They spoke silently through their glances, a tension building between them. Just then, Will's phone rang. As he got busy on the call, Ramona and Simu tried to exchange a few words, but with Will right there, they couldn't say anything. That evening, Ramona returned home from the market with James. She went to see Will, who was already being attended to by Simu. While talking to Will, Ramona deliberately brushed her hand against Simu's, sending him a clear signal of what she wanted. Later, when Simu returned to his room, he found a beautifully wrapped gift on his bed, a present from Ramona. Seeing it, his face lit up. It was his birthday, and he had told Ramona about it the night before. Feeling happy and touched, Simu smiled to himself and soon fell asleep. The next morning, Ramona sat with Sophia, sipping coffee in the garden. Simu was working nearby, tending to the plants. Ramona subtly gestured toward him, asking with her eyes if he liked the gift. Simu looked back and responded with a shy smile and a small nod. Ramona's face brightened, but Sophia noticed their silent exchange and grew suspicious that something was going on between them. Later, lost in her thoughts of Simu, Ramona lay down on her bed and drifted into a dream. In the dream, Simu entered her room and they began making love, until suddenly, Simu's face changed into Will's, horrifying her. She screamed and woke up, realizing it was only a nightmare. When Ramona went downstairs to look for Simu, she was stunned to see Will at the dining table, flirting openly with Sophia. Heartbroken, Ramona stood frozen. She didn't say a word, but Sophia, seeing her mistress there, quietly slipped away. Ramona felt shattered. Her own husband had betrayed her. Feeling broken and lonely, Ramona walked to the lake and sat by the shore. Seeing her in tears, Simu came over and handed her a handkerchief with her name embroidered on it. The small gesture brought a faint smile to her face. Simu gently asked what was wrong, but Ramona couldn't bring herself to tell him. Instead, Simu began sharing his own story, how he'd struggled through life, trying to move forward despite everything. As he spoke, Ramona leaned into his arms. For the first time, they both found comfort in each other's presence. That night, Will hosted a big party at his house. His friends came over with their girlfriends, and after too many drinks, Will grew loud and reckless. Laughing, he encouraged his friends to have fun with their partners right there. Everyone started partying wildly, but Will wasn't satisfied. He turned to Ramona and told her to join in the fun. Ramona refused. She wasn't like the others. Furious, Will pushed her hard in front of everyone. Simu, standing nearby, saw it all. His heart burned with anger and pain, but he couldn't intervene. He quietly walked away and returned to his room, filled with guilt and frustration. While he sat there, lost in thought, Sophia entered and said, "Will is calling you to his room." Simu hesitated, but went anyway. When he entered, he saw Will sitting there drunk, a gun in his hand. In a slurred voice, Will asked, "Tell me the truth, Simu. Do you mess around with my wife when I'm not home?" Simu froze. He couldn't say a word. He had come there only to work. He needed the money. But deep down, he knew what Will was trying to do, humiliate Ramona. So he stood there silently, head bowed, as Will glared at him through his drunken rage. After yelling at Simu, Will went straight to Ramona and right in front of Simu, started forcing himself on her. Will believed that Ramona had humiliated him earlier by refusing him in front of everyone, and now he wanted to teach her a lesson. When he was done, Will left the room without a word, while Ramona sat there in tears. Simu stood frozen, watching everything with pain and helplessness in his eyes. He slowly walked over to Ramona and broke down crying beside her. The next morning, Will was leaving for work. At the gate, he met Simu and, pretending to be generous, handed him some money as a reward for his service. In truth, Will just wanted to test Simu's loyalty to see if he would show any resentment, but Simu passed the test. He stayed humble and respectful. That evening, Simu was walking along the lakeside when Ramona came to him. Laughing softly, she splashed water on him playfully, and soon, their teasing turned into something deeper. There, by the quiet lake, the two finally gave in to their feelings and made love. For Simu, it was his first real love, and for Ramona, it was the happiness she had long been denied. After that night, whenever Will left home, the two lovers would secretly meet again. Even Sophia eventually found out about their affair, but she stayed silent because she had grown fond of Ramona and wanted to see her happy, even if it meant keeping their secret. One day, while Simu and Ramona were together, Simu said softly, "Let's run away from here. I've saved enough money. We can start a new life." But Ramona shook her head. "If I leave, Will hunt us down and kill us both. You don't know what kind of man he really is." She was terrified because she knew Will's true nature better than anyone. A few days later, Simu and Ramona were together again when Will unexpectedly returned home early from work. Sophia saw him pulling up outside and immediately rushed to warn them. "Ma'am, he's here. You have to do something fast," she whispered urgently. Meanwhile, Will waited outside with James, growing impatient. The main door was locked. Sophia had shut it to buy Ramona some time. Ramona quickly ran to the bathroom, while Simu jumped out through the back window just moments before Will entered the house. "Where the hell is everyone?" Will shouted, storming through the living room. When he didn't see Ramona, he went upstairs to look for her. In the bedroom, he found Sophia instead. "Where's my wife?" he demanded. Sophia froze, too scared to answer. Will glanced around the room and finally pushed open the bathroom door, only to see Ramona inside, pretending to be taking a shower. "Oh, you're home," she said with a fake smile, trying to sound casual. "I was just freshening up." Will's anger softened for the moment, and he walked toward her. Meanwhile, Simu, taking advantage of the distraction, slipped quietly out from the back of the house. James noticed him sneaking away, but said nothing. Later that night, Simu sat outside his room, lost in thought, sadness written all over his face. Sophia approached him, and he offered her a cigarette. They sat together silently for a while before Simu asked, "Why do you work for a man like Will?" Sophia took a deep breath and said, "My daughter is very sick. She needs expensive treatment. I need this job to pay for it." Simu nodded slowly. He already knew that Will had taken advantage of her too. Sophia looked away and said bitterly, "Sometimes when you're desperate for money, you have to do things you hate." A few days later, Will threw another party. His same group of friends came again, all drinking and having fun with their lovers. James, however, was sitting alone in a corner, so Will's friends started mocking him for fun, but James stayed quiet. Everyone was completely drunk, and Simu was standing nearby, silently watching everything. Then, Will's friends suggested playing a new game. At first, Will got angry because he knew Ramona wouldn't agree to play that kind of game. But after his friends insisted again and again, Will told Ramona to run against James in front of everyone. James immediately refused, but Ramona got so furious hearing this that she slapped Will hard in front of everyone. Will, humiliated and drunk, started hitting her in anger. Seeing Ramona injured, Simu ran to stop him and in a burst of rage attacked Will, but Will's friends caught Simu and dragged him away. Will was furious at Simu for interfering and ordered James to bring Simu before him. When Simu was brought in, Will wanted to take revenge for being insulted, but he was too drunk to fight properly and started vomiting instead. His friends were shocked by the chaos. Then, Will angrily told James, saying he never wanted to see his face again. Simu begged for mercy, pleading with James to spare him. Feeling pity, James told him to leave town and never come back. The next morning, Will apologized to Ramona for his behavior. Because of what happened, he had lost trust in everyone, even firing Sophia from her job. When Sophia was leaving the house, she and Ramona shared a silent, emotional goodbye. Sophia was heartbroken. She still hadn't gathered enough money for her sick daughter's treatment. Later, Sophia went to meet Simu. Simu asked what she would do now. She replied that she didn't know, her future was uncertain. It was the last time they met. Before leaving, Sophia gave Simu a parcel from Ramona, which contained some money and a key to her house. That night, Simu used the key to sneak into Will's mansion. From there, he overheard Will and Ramona talking. Quietly, Simu grabbed a knife. Will was with Ramona at that moment, and just as Simu moved to stab him, Will saw him and began to fight back. Before Will could kill Simu, Ramona multiple times, finally freeing herself from him. Afterward, the sheet took all the money and prepared to leave. Simu looked heartbroken, unsure if what they'd done was right or wrong. Ramona comforted him, saying they would start a new life far away from all this, and escaped by boat. The next morning, when they reached the shore, they were met by police officer James. Simu was shocked to see him, but Ramona calmly walked toward James, leaving Simu behind. It turned out that everything was part of a plan. Ramona and James had conspired together from the start. Their goal was to have Will killed and take over his property. James sparing Simu earlier had been part of their trap. After revealing the truth, in the end, Ramona told the dying Simu that she did everything for money, so that after Will's death, all his property would belong to her. Will's entire estate was transferred to Ramona. Sophia later returned to her life. Ramona began going to work every day again, now with one of James's men as her driver. In the final scene, Ramona remembers Simu and starts crying. She regrets everything she did to him. Holding Simu's handkerchief, she breaks down in tears, and that's where the movie ends.